Hey guys, in this video I wanted to give you guys some insight into how I program for my back training, give you guys some practical advice on how to improve your back training. Hopefully you guys learn something from this and see some good progress as a result of it. So I'll just hop right into it. So I split up my back training into horizontal and vertical pulling emphasis days. So on one day I do more rows and their respective variations, and then on one day I do more vertical pulls like pull ups, lat pull downs, anything of that nature on the other one. And there are multiple reasons why I do this. So first off, just in an anatomy sense of it, we need to understand that the back is a large assortment of muscles. It's not just one sheet of muscle. The back is just a region of your body. It consists of like multiple muscles such as the lats, the spinal erectors, the rhomboids, etc. And as such, because of the complexity, you need appropriate variation on and loading strategies in each plane of motion in order to achieve the best growth. So, how I would, what you guys are seeing here is my horizontal pull emphasis day. So, how I would set this up is I would have relatively heavier horizontal pulling with more sets on that, and then relatively lighter vertical pulling with a little bit less sets on in that plane of motion. And so basically, what this would help me is it helps me to overload the musculature in that specific plane of motion better to a larger extent. And this is because mainly because of the nervous system. So the nervous system takes the longest of all your body systems to actually adequately recover. We know that our muscles are actually recovered prior to our nervous system's ability to actually produce a force to move weight. Um, and we all know this from experience. Um, you know, Even if you aren't necessarily sore in a muscle, during your set, your nervous system will take a hit, and you're not able to actually achieve better performance because of that fatigue that accumulates. Um, so when I split up my volume into a horizontal and vertical pulling emphasis, I'm able to tax motor neurons that work harder in rowing on my horizontal pull emphasis day, and then tax motor neurons that work harder in vertical pulling on my vertical pulling day. And so another really good loading strategy to talk about is on your horizontal emphasis day, for example, you should use slightly higher weights and a relatively lower rep range for hypertrophy. So 6 to 12 reps. Um, and this is mainly because type 2 muscle fibers have been shown to hypertrophy or grow the most of all of the muscle fibers. You have type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers primarily in your body. Um, and if you're using a little bit heavier weight on that, you'll be able to better stimulate those type 2 muscle fibers to a larger extent, simply because they are used more with maximal force contractions. Um, and so you get ultimately a better growth response on that day of the target musculature. And then by having a pull in the opposite plane of motion, in this example, vertical pulling on my horizontal emphasis pull day with a higher rep target, you're going to have to use lower loads, but you can still overload and get the benefits of overload in that plane of motion with the nervous system benefits, with the recovery. So then when you come into your vertical pulling session emphasis after your horizontal emphasis session, you'll be able to more efficiently achieve overload and get, quite likely better growth from it. And the overall just is the most efficient, the best strategy from my personal experience, exam, and the science supports it. Just that it leads to a better overload because you're more strategically just distributing your volume, choosing exercises appropriately and loading and variation strategies. So I would recommend using about three different exercises that you want to choose in each plane of motion. So, for example, barbell rows to chest, barbell rows to your stomach, and a dumbbell row for your horizontal pull, and then pull-ups, wide grip pull downs, and a chin up would be a really great example of exercise variation that you could incorporate so that you can hit all of those muscle groups that you want to hit for that week. And then I just wanted to talk for something about really, really, really fast because I'm sure I'm going to get asked like, why did I do a barbell row to my chest and a barbell row to my uh, belly button? And the biggest reason why is just because it's just a different biomechanical pattern, different movement pattern that hits different muscle groups in different ways. So basically, the closer that you pull to your hips, the more shoulder extension you get, and the more lat involvement. And then the higher that you pull up on your body, so closer to your chest, the more transverse shoulder abduction you get, and that will hit the more of your traps and upper back muscles. So that's just an example of a simple strategy of variation that you can use with altering, how you pull to hit different muscles. Just make sure that the biomechanics support it. You're not just doing something dumb. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. If you guys learned something and that you guys learned something from it, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.